Map Dad here. So with summer winding down and college fact-finding trips in the books with my son, I wanted to do something with my daughter before she headed back to college. We decided on a place I had heard wasn't as overcrowded as usual, Walt Disney World. We started the first day tiptoeing into the Mouse Kingdom mosh pit, staying at a Hilton in Lake Buena Vista that was a footbridge away from Disney Springs, $195 for the night, including tax. We had dinner at Raglan Road, where we enjoyed some music and traditional Irish dance. I would highly recommend my daughter's scallop dish. My beef sandwich was good, not great. What was great was the bread pudding for dessert, some of the best I've ever had. The next morning, it was up early at 7 a.m., first to snag a boarding group for Rise of the Resistance, and then to drive to Disney's Boardwalk Inn, where we would spend the next 2 nights. The $400 nightly price tag was steep, but in real estate, it's all about location, location, location. The hotel was within walking distance to 2 of the parks. We parked and walked the 15 minutes to Hollywood Studios, making it in before 9 a.m. Map Dad rocking his Oswald t-shirt and customary cargo shorts for the park. Straight ahead was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, the old great movie ride. It was a really fun attraction. Then off to Toy Story Land and a ride on Slinky Dog Dash, a more mild than wild coaster, but still fun. With crowds still light, we headed to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and in just 30 minutes, we were on Smuggler's Run.
I need flight.
As I posted back on my visit to Disneyland 2 years ago, the ride is really only fun if you're the pilot. My daughter got that chance, and I was a willing gunner behind her. Still fun, but you really only get the immersive experience sitting up front. While the crowds were very manageable, we couldn't snag a reservation at Oga's Cantina, so we had to settle for the blue and green milk. Fun to try, the consistency's kind of slushy-ish, but you're not really missing anything. Lunch was a first-time endeavor at the 50s Primetime Cafe. I got the sampling of Mom's favorite recipes. Now, the pot roast and meatloaf were outstanding. I was surprisingly disappointed with the fried chicken. A little too greasy and not a lot of taste. My daughter took a pass on the Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror, so I soloed on the coaster, which was as fun as I remember. The Lightning McQueen Racing Academy was also a nice diversion. Some shows have returned, so we sat through Beauty and the Beast, which was a good refresher for me, as you'll see why later in the video. Finally, around 4 in the afternoon, our boarding group was called for Rise of the Resistance, and it lived up to the hype. It takes the technology of the trackless car and the simulator ride experience to new heights. It's well worth the wait and will take a chunk out of your day. From the moment we got on our boarding line to when we got off the ride was about an hour. The first night was concluded at Epcot for the Food and Wine Festival, a very sneaky way for Disney to pile up profits. An $8 tempura shrimp sandwich here, a $6 chicken teriyaki bun there, and soon you're talking real money. Disappointed in the offerings in France, but liked the lobster roll at the American Adventure. More food options will be available in October of 2021. Day 2 at the park started very late. It wasn't until the early afternoon when we made our way to the Magic Kingdom. It was our first glimpse of the castle painted a different hue, and there were signs that the parks were gearing up for Disney World's 50th anniversary. And that could be one reason why crowds were manageable, people waiting for the celebration, plus Florida kids were back in school.
Rendezvous at Planet C.
Buzz Lightyear is still a fun attraction, but I can never tell if my laser works. The ride itself didn't work for a minute or 2. We also hit the Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, and the Jungle Cruise. Still plenty of corny jokes, but no more references here to the natives on the islands. We didn't ride any of the mountains as some rain moved through, but we could see why people are told to hang on to their hats on Big Thunder. The night ended at the Be Our Guest restaurant inside the Beast's Enchanted Castle. Now, I was told not to eat there for lunch, but to have the dinner experience. We sat in the main ballroom, which I was disappointed about at first because it's a cavernous space, while the rooms to either side had better theming and were a little quieter. Still, it worked out for the best as my daughter got the Beast's attention to show him a drawing she had made. The meal itself was well worth the hefty $62 price tag. I had a fantastic filet. My daughter went scallops again. Now, there was a little confusion with the dessert trio. Now, I thought you got to choose from the 4 items on the menu. The chip cup of white chocolate filled with gray stuff, believed to be a cookies and cream pudding, was delicious, as was the lemon jam macaroon. Now, I didn't want the dark chocolate truffle. I asked the waiter about the vanilla cake option, which he brought out, earning him a significantly larger tip and allowing my daughter and I to end the night with another fantastic treat. The last morning was at Animal Kingdom, inside before the official opening at 8 a.m., and an immediate walk to Pandora and the Avatar Flight of Passage. The last time we were here, the wait was 3 hours. Today it was a walk-on. The ride itself is phenomenal. Then onto the Navi River journey to see the latest in animatronics.
Baobab trees have leaves during the height of the rainy season.
After, it was off to the Kilimanjaro Safari. While the earlier start allowed us to see plenty of animals about, some, like the lions, work on their own schedule. We then took the train to Rafiki's Planet Watch and a stop in the conservation station to draw with a Disney animator, something we used to love to do at Hollywood Studios. Lunch was a backtrack to Pandora to the Satuli Canteen and a delicious chicken and beef bowl.
Don't worry, your old buddy Timon is here.
It was great to see the Festival of the Lion King show back. I have memories of my daughter as a toddler sleeping on my shoulder waiting for this show, and it's as good as I remember. We passed on Expedition Everest, got shaken up a bit on Dinosaur, and by midday, we're already spent. Some good father-daughter bonding time and another successful adventure. I'm Map Dad, pointing your travels in the right direction.